Linear inequalities. In these examples, we're going to graph a linear inequality with two variables. So we're going to graph things the same way as if it were an equal sign. So we're going to say y equals x minus 3. And then we're going to put the inequality sign back in. So you solve it as if it were y equals, and then go from there. But we're already solved for y, so we're going to graph it the same way. So we're going to cross at -3, b is equal to -3. And then my m is going to be my rise over run. And that is going to be whatever is attached to the x, which in this case is a 1. So 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Now I need to decide, is it dashed or solid when I draw my line. Okay, so when I do that, I look at my symbol right here. If it is less than or greater than, then it's a dashed line. If it is greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, it is a solid line. So since this is a greater than sign, it's going to be a dashed line. So I'm going to draw a dashed line . So that's the first part. And now I have to decide where to shade. So this is my first step, is to graph the line. The second step is to figure out dashed or solid. And the third step is to figure out your shading. To figure out your shading, you need to pick a point. Usually I pick 0, 0, which is not on the line. So pick a point not on the line. And then we put it in. So y equals 0 and x equals 0. We're just going to put the point in. So 0 is greater than 0 minus 3. Is this a true statement? It's a question mark there. Is this a true statement? 0 is greater than -3. That is true. So since that is true, we're going to shade on that point. So I'm going to shade above the line. So that would be your final graph. Alright, so for this next one, we're going to be graphing the line y is less than or equal to 2 over 3 x plus 4. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find my slope. 2 over 3, which is the thing attached to the m. And then the second thing I want to do there is find my b. So that would be the other thing, which is 4. So then I can graph that. Cross at 4. And then I go up 2, 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Up 2, over 3. Now I need to figure out, is it a solid or dashed line? Okay, so if it's a solid, it is a less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. If it is dashed, it is less than or greater than. Since this is a less than or equal to sign, it's going to be a solid line. So I can draw my line like I always do. And then, step 3, pick a point not on the line. Okay, so I always pick 0, 0 if it's not on the line, just because it's easy to put that point in. Okay, so I have y is less than or equal to 2/3 x plus 4. And I'm going to put this point in. So I'm going to put 0 in for y and 0 in for x. So that's going to be 0 is less than or equal to 2/3 times 0 plus 4. So when I solve this, that's going to cancel out to 0, so I have 0 is less than or equal to 4. That is a true statement. Since 0 is less than 4, I shade on top of that point. So I'm going to shade below this line. And that would be your final answer. For this next example, we have y is greater than x minus 2. This is kind of similar to the first example. So the step 1 is to identify your m and your b. So my m is whatever is attached to the x, so that would be 1 or 1 over 1. And your b is negative 2. So I can graph that. Negative 2. And then I'm going to rise over run, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and so on. Now step 2, is it solid or is it dashed? Okay, solid is less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, dashed is less than or greater than. This one is a greater than sign, so it's dashed. So I'm going to draw a dashed line. Alright, and now I need to figure out shading. So I need to pick a point not on the line. So when I pick that point, I usually pick the point 0, 0, which is not on the line. It's just easiest. So I have y is greater than x minus 2. Put my points in. Put that one in for y. Put that one in for x. And I have 0 is greater than negative 0 minus 2, or 0 is greater than negative 2. This is once again a true statement, because 0 is bigger than any negative numbers, so I'm going to shade on that point. And that would be your final answer. Finally, this last one, we're going to actually graph two on the same system, coordinate system. So we have x is greater than negative 1. So I want to graph x is greater than negative 1. Where is x equal to negative 1? So this is my x-axis. So my x is negative 1 right here. But it's also negative 1 at all these points right here. So this is the line that I need to draw. But now I'm to the point where solid or dashed. It is a greater than sign, so it's going to be a dashed line. So I continue my dashed line up here. So that is my line, x equals -1. Then step 3, I need to figure out shading. So I'm picking this point, and is this point 0, 0? So is 0 greater than -1? Yes, that is true. So I'm going to shade on this side of the line. But now I have another stipulation. I have y is greater than or equal to 2. So if I'm graphing y is greater than or equal to 2, y is equal to 2 right here, and all of these points along here. Now I need to figure out, is it solid or dashed? And it is a greater than or equal to sign, so it's going to be a solid line. So I'm going to go back in here and make this solid. And then finally, step 3, pick a point to do your shading. So again, I'm going to pick 0, 0, and I have 0 is greater than or equal to 2. This is a false statement. So here's my point 0, 0. This is a false statement, so I have to shade away from that line. And then what I'm going to do is actually only shade the intersection. I would technically do all of these. But my final answer is just going to be where they both overlap. Because up here, the green and blue overlap. So that's what you're looking for, the overlap area. So it's just going to be up here. And that would be your answer. So those are your notes over linear inequalities. Go through some practice problems and make sure you watch the next video over systems of linear inequalities. Then you should be ready for your quiz.